Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to another top 10 video here on TetraBitGaming. As some of you might know, I recently just uploaded my list of the top 10 Mario power-ups, so I thought, hey, why not follow it up with the opposite? If you haven't yet seen my list of the top 10 Mario power-ups, I highly recommend you do so before watching this video, so click on the annotation or card right here to see it. Anyway, many of you have probably had a chance to experience many of the power-ups in Mario games, and as such, in this video I will be outlining the top 10 worst power-ups in Mario games. Now some of these items aren't bad per se, but let's just say if you had an opportunity you'd probably pick another item. Obviously, as this is a top 10 worst power-ups list, I might get a little bit salty with some of the power-ups. So as always my dudes, if a power-up you really like or don't like appears in a different spot than you would have placed it, or doesn't appear on this list at all, it just means that we enjoy the power-ups differently. And if you guys do enjoy the video and want to see more top 10s in the future, please be sure to leave a big like down below and let me know what your least favorite Mario power-ups are. So without further delay, let's dive right into my list of the top 10 worst Mario power-ups. And kicking off this list at the number 10 spot, we have the Power Flower, specifically for Mario, from the DS remake of Super Mario 64. And similar to that of the Power Balloon in Super Mario World, when picking up the Power Flower, Mario will inflate himself just like a balloon and look something like Trigglypuff. And then when inflated, Mario has the ability to float up and around the map by pressing the jump button. There's really not too much bad about this item overall, except for me anyway. I don't really find the item that useful, and it's more of just a shortcut most of the time. Even then, I find it really hard to control Balloon Mario, and this is only made worse by the camera in the game. I think it's about time Mario started doing some cardio. Next up is an item from Super Mario Land, the not super well known first Mario platformer on the Game Boy. In short, you remember the good old Fire Flower from other Mario games? Well, the Super Ball Flower is the sad replacement for it in this game. The power-up isn't terrible if you actually manage to hit an enemy with a Super Ball, but that's really easier said than done. Whereas regular fireballs thrown by Fire Mario tumble in front of you in one direction, the Super Balls ricochet all over the place, including like right after you throw it, making it much harder to hit an enemy even if it's right in front of you. And to make matters even worse, you are limited to only having one Super Ball on the screen at a time. So if you miss, there's a chance you might have to wait a while to throw another one. It is still better to have this power-up than not having it, I guess, but hey, that's why it's only at number 9. Like I mentioned in my other video, the Super Mushroom is for many the first Mario power-up ever picked up, and it was really cool to see Mario become the bigger Super Mario for the first time. Well, the Mini Mushroom as first introduced in Mario Party 4 has a different idea. Obviously from the power-up's name, the item shrinks Mario to a fraction of his original size. And although this might sound cool at first, overall the power-up is actually a hindrance, or at least it is in New Super Mario Bros. Firstly, the Mini Mushroom makes Mario much floatier, so it's often harder to control a jump in the air. And secondly, even for being a power-up, Mario still dies after being hit. And I mean, come on, you can't even normally stomp on a Goomba, the weakest enemy in the game, as you'll just bounce right off of them if you don't hit them with a full ground pound. The Mini Mushroom does, however, let you access certain mini pipes, but for me anyway, I always seem to find these mini pipes when I don't have a Mini Mushroom on hand. So I often have to go search for one first and then replay the level again after, which can be kind of annoying sometimes. The Mini Mushroom does also let you run on water, which is pretty cool, so yeah, kudos to that at least. And hitting up number 7 is a new power-up seen in Super Mario 3D World, the Lightbox. And as you might expect, this power-up allows you to wear a big old box on your head which emits a beam of light. Again, sounds kind of cool at first, but then you realize its only purpose is to light up dark areas and defeat ghostly enemies. I think this power-up is pretty useless as you can already stop a Boo in its tracks just by looking at it. But I guess lighting up areas you can't normally see is pretty nifty, so that's why this item gets at least some props. Time passes. People move. Like a river's flow, it never ends. A childish mind will turn to noble time. Something just about every person on Earth wishes they had more of at some point or another. And it certainly would be nice to get more of it just by touching a little stopwatch, just like the clocks in Mario games. That being said, they aren't much of a power-up as all they do is add more time to the timer. Now these can be very useful in a speed-based level where the time is a constraint, but for me anyway, it seemed like I'd often find these clocks on levels where they weren't really needed. So while they are a very nice convenience, personally I just don't think they do much to actually power Mario up. Now this next one up at number 5 I still have mixed feelings about. The Double Cherry was first introduced to us in Super Mario 3D World, and although I really like the power-up and think the levels that use it are often really creative, at the end of the day, the item really doesn't do anything to help us. For those of you that don't know, the Double Cherry creates an extra clone of your character for every one that you pick up. So I guess it's pretty awesome to have 4 Fire Marios throwing my mixtape. But on the flip side, you could also just have a bunch of regular Marios, which doesn't help you at all, except to progress in the level, and if anything, you just have a bigger hassle of having to keep track of all the clones. The 6th day, eat your heart out. At first I didn't really want to include any Mario Kart items on this list, but I figured there weren't enough bad Mario Kart items to make a full list about them, so I thought, why not? Although not the worst power-up in the Mario Kart series, the Blooper item at number 4 on this list is still pretty useless. Being in every Mario Kart game since Mario Kart DS, activating this power-up summons a gang of bloopers to come and ink your opponents and to obscure their vision. Problem is, it kinda sucks. For human opponents, it's still quite easy to see through the ink, so if anything at all it is just a temporary inconvenience, especially in Mario Kart DS where you can still see the track on the bottom screen. For computer rivals, all the blooper does is cause them to swerve around on the track for a bit in older games, and I really don't see much of an effect in it from Mario Kart 8, so it's always such a disappointment when I get the blooper in an item box. And to make it even worse, if you're doing really well in a race and you happen to keep a blooper at first place, the blooper will actually backfire and ink you instead. Yeah, great power up, huh? Hey, have you ever wanted to play a 3D Mario game in the eyes of a Goomba? No? Well, for the 6 of you that did, this is the item for you. The Goomba mask in Super Mario 3D World lets you do just that. By donning the Goomba mask, you can now walk around and jump like a Goomba with all the other Goomba dudes who now think you're one of them. And yeah, that's really it. Yep, all this power does is let you disguise yourself as one of the weakest enemies in the game. At least it's kind of cool to waddle around like a Goomba for a few seconds, I guess. If you've ever played Mario Kart 8, you know the disappointment that you feel when you pick up an item box with the hopes of getting something really decent, only to end up with a coin power-up. Yes, I know, overall the coins help you reach a higher max velocity and gives you a tiny little boost, but as an item collected from a box, this is in my opinion the worst one that you can get. Quite literally all this item does is give you 2 extra coins and a tiny speed boost, which is unbearably useless, as it hardly helps you at all. And it's not like collecting coins normally on the map is hard, so unless you're getting hit a lot or not trying to collect them, you'll usually have the maximum of 10 coins anyway. All I know is that when I'm in first place, I'm always really hoping that I'll get anything but a coin in an item box. Alright, as always guys, before I get to my number 1 pick on this list, here are a few honorable mentions for the worst Mario power-ups that didn't quite make it to this list for one reason or another. And finally, the power-up taking the number 1 spot for the worst power-up ever on this list is one that really shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, and it's hard to even describe this item as a power-up. The Poison Mushroom, which made its first appearance in the Japanese version of Super Mario Bros. 2, should really be considered a power down, as it is the antithesis of a Super Mushroom. Instead of helping you, the Poison Mushroom will either kill you or revert you back to Small Mario. Yeah, awesome power-up, right? One of the reasons the original Super Mario Bros. 2 never made a Western release is that it was deemed too difficult for the audience outside of Japan, and this item was one of the reasons for that happening. So if you didn't already know about the hidden Super Mushroom on the first level of the game, the first power-up you'd likely get is the Poison Mushroom, which would kill you right away. The poison mushroom also makes a notable appearance in the Super Smash Bros. Series, in which they shrink you down, make your attacks weaker, and make you easier to knock out. So in conclusion, for both games and many others, this is hands down the worst power-up you can get in pretty much any Mario game. And there you have it, guys, my list of the top 10 worst Super Mario power-ups. Did you agree with my list? What are some of your least favorite Mario power-ups? Let me know down in the comment section below. And again, if you guys did enjoy this top 10 video and want to see more like it in the future, let me know by smashing that like button. It seriously would help me out a lot. And to stay even more up to date with me and my channel, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Links to all those pages will be in the description below. And as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching and for all your amazing support lately, and I will see you in a bit.